live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Another day, great to be with you here on 2 News Live. I'm Brian Schnee. Thursday, October 19th. We have a lot to get to tonight. We're going to talk about social media companies and where things stand with the state of Utah. Brian Malley with us in just a few minutes after speaking directly to Governor Spencer Cox about that earlier today. Also diving in a little bit deeper in that extensive body camera video we showed you yesterday of when law enforcement officers found Ruby Franke's children at a home in American Fork. Ariel Harrison has been diving into that, but also looking at a unique angle about the arrest that took place, and it resulted in the woman in handcuffs for about 50 minutes during that video. Before we get there, though, let's take a look at your headlines. You can find all of this on our website, KUTV.com. So, what do we have today? A groundbreaking ceremony for New Bees Ballpark and phase 1 of the ballpark in Daybreak. So, South Jordan area. I think we've got some other ones here. Let me just stand in the way here. So, the ballpark will seat 7,500 and be easily accessed by tracks, all part of the downtown Daybreak area, which will be a transformational mixed-use development. Also in our headlines, 2 Ogden mayor candidates will go head-to-head in a debate tonight. They'll take the stage 6:30 Weber State University campus. On our website right now, the Laura McCluskey Foundation and the U joining together to sponsor a event there on campus, and that event will commemorate a couple years since McCluskey was killed there at the U. So I hope to get those headlines for you by just going to our website, KUTV.com. So as we go in depth tonight, you can always get in touch with us by using the hashtag for the show, 2 News Live. Join us on the conversation. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can send a direct message there to weigh in. After police body camera footage released surrounding the Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrandt child abuse case, this is footage that we obtained for you yesterday. A criminal defense attorney weighing in. When it comes to knowing your rights when police knock on your door, the video showing police in American Fork interacting with a colleague and friend of both women being questioned. Ariel Harrison with us tonight. Ariel, what about this body camera intrigues you, and what did you speak to individuals about this today? Because you looked at it from a different lens than what we showed folks last night.
Yeah, kind of like you mentioned, we spoke with a criminal defense attorney today, but last night we spoke with a former deputy police chief to get both perspectives on this. Both of those individuals found it concerning how unclear everything kind of was from the start. When the officers get there, if you watch back the body cam footage, the officers mentioned that they're looking for children of Ruby Franke, which the wife and husband who answer the door and the homeowners are receptive to. And then the officer then tells the woman he has a warrant for her and a child, and then proceeds to begin handcuffing her and taking her into custody. And while all of this is happening, we never read or hear him or an officer read her Miranda rights. And it actually turns out that this American Fork woman, Pam Botchert, is handcuffed, walked away from her home, taken into custody, locked in the back of a police car, and questioned, all while we still haven't heard the officer read her Miranda rights. So the defense attorney and the former deputy police chief found that concerning. They also thought it was concerning, part of this and piece to this, the information that was being shared between departments. Brian, I know you've touched on this. We had, law enforcement agencies from St. George, so Washington County, here in Utah County, trying to coordinate, as that day on August 30th, officers had taken Jody Hildebrandt and Ruby Franke into custody for this the child abuse charges. Well, all of this was happening in Utah County, in American Fork. So we had the Springville Police Department involved, then trying to get assistance from American Fork Police, which is who we initially see in that police body cam video. So it is apparent that there's confusion. There's confusion on all ends. You see that Pam and her husband are very confused as to what's going on, why his wife's being handcuffed. He even asks officers, do you have a warrant? Can I see it? and officers state they do have a warrant. We do later learn that there wasn't a warrant for her arrest. It does appear that it was a warrant to simply get the children into state custody and to do so safely. So lots of moving pieces to this that we were able to get some unique perspectives on, Brian.
Ariel, I also think something that people seeing some of this video may be asking, given the fact that Bottcher was in handcuffs for 50 minutes, they talked about, do you have the warrant? Can you show me the warrant? From the people that you spoke to, both obviously a criminal defense attorney and a former member of our law enforcement community here in northern Utah, did they believe this couple has a case for wrongful arrest?
Defense attorney about this, and she kind of responded that while there were a number of concerning things that took place, and she even, watching it back, said that she felt that was an illegal arrest of what took place just based on watching everything play out. But she did say it was unlikely, just being that police officers have governmental immunity that protects them. So she didn't think it was very likely, Brian.
Ariel Harrison diving into this body camera video to another level and taking a look at what this means when we see the individual put into cuffs and then put in the back of a police cruiser. Ariel, thank you. We have another perspective to show you from that video. So when we comb through some of this body camera video, it was about 3 hours long between two perspectives of two officers. I want to show you another perspective of an officer talking to Bottcher's husband after she was taken away and brought to a patrol car.
Is my wife in that car? Mm-hmm. With handcuffs on?
Yes, sir. She's being detained for investigation for Springville officers.
What's the reason for putting her in handcuffs?
For safety reasons. If anyone is placed in one of our vehicles, it's policy.
Why did you have to put her in the vehicle?
Because she's detained right now.
Yeah, but she can be detained right here on the front porch, right?
Sure, I understand that, but also at the same time, we're unsure of all the details of the case. This isn't our case, it's an agency assist like Officer Hawkins explained to you. So we don't have all of the details information in regards to her contacting.
You can detain her in that chair, right?
Sure, but I'm explaining something to you, right? We can't be having her speak to you, speak on the phone until their investigation is complete.
If you'd like to see more of the body camera footage from American Fork Police, we posted various clips on our YouTube channel. The 8 passengers case, something of course we've been following for months now. You can also find a lot of our past interviews with those who say they've been impacted by some of the members that are involved in this. Everything is on our 8 passengers playlist on our KUTV YouTube channel. Let's go in depth tonight with the Brian Malley. Governor Spencer Cox held his monthly news conference today. He discussed a number of topics, as he always does. One of the main subjects, though, he touched on was social media. The governor says he's preparing more lawsuits against social media companies. We've talked a lot about this. Brian Malley joining us live now. Brian, you asked the governor a lot of questions today. I listened to a lot of those exchanges. What did he say about these lawsuits?
Hi, Brian. Yeah, the governor said a couple of things. I think if you break this down into 2 themes. One is that more lawsuits are coming from Utah against social media companies, not just TikTok, which the state says encourages addictive and destructive behavior among minors. So more lawsuits are coming. The governor is not saying which companies, not saying when those lawsuits will be filed. That's one. Secondly, the governor defended the state's law that goes into effect on March 24th, which requires that social media companies get age verification from their users in the state of Utah, among other things. And there were questions today about, well, okay, so you're going to have to provide a government ID, or you're going to have to is this going to be overly intrusive? And the governor said, no, there are ways to do this without requiring that. In addition, he says it's already happening with online gaming, and we've done some stories about that online gaming in the state of Utah is more difficult than it is in other places because Utah has different laws related to gambling. So those were the 2 themes related to social media today. 1, more lawsuits. 2, the Utah law will work, he says.
Brian, the governor also says new state action coming to address really the ever-present issue of homelessness. Specifically, I know we mentioned Salt Lake City and him wanting to work with the mayor and other folks, but what did he tell you about this? You asked him a very interesting question about the money already spent on some of these issues.
Yeah, I asked him, I said, well, if people are out there saying, look, the state has spent loads of money on the homeless issue in Utah, tens of millions of dollars, maybe more than $100 million, the governor did not seem to argue with those numbers. The question then is, we don't seem to be better off. What do you say to them? And he said, well, they're right. And then he proceeded to say, look, we've done a number of good things, but we have to put this all together. That's the way he described it. But a couple of new initiatives seem to be coming. The governor says as we get closer to the legislative session, there will be more action. You'll see more action about this. And here, among other things, may be a couple of key elements of these new initiatives. One, stopping unsanctioned camping across the state. In the capital city specifically, he said, but also across the state of Utah. Two, more beds at the Utah State Hospital. That's a facility that treats people for addictions and also mental illness. The governor says there are several hundred beds there right now. There used to be thousands. So this is going to require more spending for certain, at least the way the governor cast it today. Those seem to be the two elements. One, you got to stop the camping. Two, you got to give people more resources.
Brian Malley live for us tonight after sitting in, of course, and asking lots of questions of the governor today. And if you missed the governor's monthly news conference, a lot of things discussed in there, very open, of course. So we streamed this monthly news conference as it happened. You can get streaming updates, breaking news updates while we're not on the air. It's very easy to get all those. All you have to do is download the 2 News mobile app. Let's talk about the weather, shall we? He is here, meteorologist Chase Thomason. He has is now talking about
We're going to talk
a hurricane.
about something completely off topic.
I did not really expect this. Let me be honest with you.
That was the goal. The goal is that we wanted to surprise you, and I think we are.
You got me.
There is a hurricane out in the Pacific. This is Norma. It is a Category 3 hurricane. So it's a major Category 3 hurricane. Winds at 125 miles an hour. Oof. It's moving north. We're directly north. But it's not going to have a huge impact on our weather because it's going to make that turn. But it's going to get very close to Cabo. So if you're going to Cabo maybe this weekend, there could be some hurricane force winds. So just keep that in mind.
Check your flights there to the airport.
You might want to change some of that flight. But then it makes that turn. The good news is that there's an ongoing drought in Texas. They've been very hot. They're going to get, I think, some of this tropical moisture, help cool things off, and get some much-needed rainfall.
All right. Well, Norma wreaking a little havoc. Luckily not for us. Let's take a look at what's happened locally here.
Okay, so we have this big ridge of high pressure, Brian, and it is keeping us very mild and very dry. Temperatures have been ranging about 10 degrees above normal. It's been really comfortable to be outside. Hopefully you've been outdoors taking advantage of it because there are a few changes as we head into next week, but it's not looking as significant as it was just yesterday. The computer model is kind of flip-flopping at the moment, but eventually they'll come together. So here's the latest for the weekend. The high kind of flattens just a bit. There's actually going to be a very little weak storm that's going to pass on by, bringing in a few clouds, but that's about it. This is the storm, though, that will bring a much bigger cool down as we head into next week. Temperatures will be into the 60s in northern Utah, maybe a chance for a little bit of rain on Monday. But then this storm that was going to be moving in Wednesday, Thursday, we'll see what's going to happen. It might stay just to our north, and we'll see our winds out of the west. But we could have definitely a bigger storm coming our way by the end of the week, but we still aren't 100% sure on how everything is going to shape up. So, of course, stay tuned to the forecast. We're at least a week out from that one. Now, temperatures today, because of this high, you can see where we have the heat across the southwest. 90s from Redding to Fresno, 105 in Palm Springs, record high in Phoenix at 104 degrees. Not too warm, though, here in Utah. It's just very nice. 70s and 80s, but that is, again, about 10 degrees above normal. Now, right now, we are in the mid-70s in Ogden and Salt Lake. Provo, you are in the upper 60s. We'll keep it clear for tonight, and we'll cool off into the low 50s. Now, central Utah into the 40s, and St. George coming in at 54 degrees with those clear skies. As we wrap up the work week, more sunshine, highs in the mid to upper 70s. Might be a few degrees warmer than yesterday, so it's a very mild way to end the week. Low 80s in central Utah, but these are our daytime highs. It takes a while to warm things up just because of our longer nights, and that sunset is now at 6:45, so those really warm temperatures don't last too long. And here's a prime example for that BYU football game on Saturday. It'll be 74 degrees at 5 o'clock, but notice as that sun goes down, we quickly drop. Mid-60s by halftime and then near 60 by the end of the game. So with that cool down, you'll want to bring a sweater or a jacket, but you probably won't want to use it until that sun goes down. We have a little bit of a weak storm that's off the coast of California, and you'll see that it will spark a few little showers tomorrow, then eventually move into Utah on Saturday. I wouldn't change any outdoor plans, but there will be a few clouds for northern and central Utah, and maybe a couple isolated showers in the mountains of northern Utah Saturday afternoon. They'll be very hit or miss, but don't be surprised if you see a couple dark clouds forming over the mountains Saturday afternoon. In the meantime, though, enjoy all the 80s through the weekend. St. George, we drop into the 70s for next week, but I'm not really seeing a whole lot of rain in your forecast. Maybe some passing clouds. Those overnight lows staying in the low to mid-50s. Salt Lake, 49 for tonight, 76 tomorrow, 76 on Saturday, 77 on Sunday. Again, another great weekend. That's 3 in a row. And then we'll see a chance for a few showers. 66 on Monday. We'll drop into the mid-60s through Wednesday, and then maybe by Thursday, still some uncertainty, we could cool off into the 50s.
All right, so let's talk about what really means something here. Obviously, all of our crazy Halloween decorations here. Scott with the ultimate
That's
show.
a good one.
I mean, did we find any dodecahedrons over here? No, I don't see any. But I mean, if you were to look close enough, you might be able to find one. Larry's got something really big here. These are guys.
Was that the word of the day?
These guys are going to live rent free in my head all night. And then what is that?
I don't know.
Oh.
Something out of a scary movie. Maybe Stranger Things.
Is that?
It could be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Did you catch the words of the day the last couple of days, by the way?
No, but that one was definitely the word of the day.
that was a tough one to squeeze in there.
Yeah.
And then obviously pirate ship, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
Good ones. Okay, so if you're looking for a great house to go take a look at some of these decorations, there's one on 9th East, I believe, in Salt Lake City. I'm not 100% sure on the address, but it's like 17th South and 9th East. There's a really, really good one. And then there's another one on 21st South and about 2100 East. Those are the two homes I've been seeing lately.
We do. It's so big here in Utah.
We do. We
for
go all
a lot
out.
of these, and that's the reason why Utah is typically towards the top of the chart. I mean, that's
great.
There's nothing like that.
That's got to be, I'm trying to look by the style of the home.
They go big in like Layton.
Yeah, South Jordan, Daybreak area.
Yeah, so hey, if you've got your pictures, fire them our way. We definitely want to see them. Thanks for joining 2 News Live. We appreciate you. Another great day here. We're back again tomorrow to do it all over again. Maybe another sneaky word we'll throw in there for you. I don't know. Send us your ideas if you've got the real word of the day. You should hear some of the words that are getting tossed my way. Have a great rest of your night here. Join us for 2 News at 6 coming up in about 13 minutes on your television. We'll see you tomorrow.